Hey everyone, sorry.
Surely we include that.
Why did it sound like that?
Please, let's
Why did it
include
come
that.
out like that?
All right, go again.
I can't go again.
Don't swear.
You are not including that part.
Yeah, we are. We definitely are. I want to give Ainsley a pineapple.
Hey everyone, so we're back for, I think this is episode 4 of Lucky Dogs podcast. So yeah, we've had a couple of guests on so far, but we thought we'd do this just with the both of us and probably recap a few things both of us have been up to since Ipswich, away from Supercars, and then we'll get into Tail and Bend, what's coming up. And yeah, I guess I went over to America and did a race.
Did you? Did you actually go?
Yeah, not very good. So, yeah, we can definitely recap that, even though there's not much to recap. And then I believe you did a TA2 race while I was away. So, how was that?
I did. Highly successful venture. Always make sure I put myself in good equipment these days. So, it was yeah, it was a lot of fun. Got to team up with Paul. So, it was an endurance event with the TA2 guys. And yeah, so I was out at Ipswich about a few weeks ago, and we got the band together. Called up RD, got him to come out and be team manager, which is absolutely hilarious. And yeah, it sort of come together pretty last minute, and actually couldn't make the first practice, I believe, because I was doing some filming in the workshop. So I finished up filming in the workshop in my race suit and drove straight out to the track in my race suit, and then hopped in the car straight away. So
imagine if you broke down on the way or had to change your tyre and you're in your race suit.
to get out of my race suit, yeah. So it was yeah, it was actually really cool. It was a really cool event. Lots of like different drivers that were around, and yeah, it was sort of just like a really, I guess, less stressful from what we normally do. I guess being in Supercars land. And just a lot of fun. Well, I was trying to have fun, but RD takes everything so seriously.
How is it? It's actually quite funny. I was going to say that before. Like, well, he probably was serious on a race weekend. He's super serious. But when I used to know RD and I met him in Super 2 and that, he was so scary. It's like he's more just having fun now and cruisy when I meet him and enjoying himself, but obviously not when he gets on the radio.
Well, he goes straight back into a mode, you see. So there was so many different funny things that happened throughout the weekend, but I remember showing up on the Friday, and he's just, how he gets in the voice and he goes, right, you come here, and right,
Yep.
You got them tyres sorted. Get the tyres out, mark them up. Bush, hurry up, like just ordering me around. And I'm like, I thought, I'll just come and do this, race, have a bit of fun with Paul. And Paul actually brought his caravan, so he parked his caravan in the pits, and yeah, it was actually good to see him just have a drive again. But yeah, it was pretty funny. RD's obviously been listening a lot to Shane's races and his spotter, Josh Williams. And one of the races, I think he thought it was a good idea to start spotting for me. So so it's rolling start, obviously, in TA2. And
No way.
you can see where this is going, probably. So the first sprint race, so there was 2 sprint races per day on the Saturday and the Sunday. So one of them was an A driver, one of them was a B driver sprint. So I was in the first one. And I think I qualified 5th or something, and the car was like 50 kilos overweight because we had too much fuel in it, and like it was just a bit of a shit show because it was last minute. But so yeah, I got drilled about that because we didn't weigh the car before qualifying. And so coming out of 5th, got a pretty good start coming down to turn 1, and I was getting squeezed by Jordan Cox. And so on the radio, RD comes on and he goes, car inside. So I'm looking and I can't see anyone. So I've just left heaps of room. Like, I thinking someone's on my inside, and Jordan Cox is still on my outside. So I've sort of shifted him wide a little bit on exit. He's ran off and it's caused a bit of a crash. And I've exited and realized there was no one on my inside, and I've gone RD. I'm like, mate, there was no one on my fucking inside. And he goes, oh yeah, sorry, I meant that you're the car on the inside. So Paul's on the radio and we're all just pissing ourselves laughing, but it's caused like a little bit of a crash. Jordan sort of did it to himself a bit, but yeah, there was so many different funny moments like that, and yeah, we had a good fun. So it was good we won the final Enduro on the Sunday, which was pretty cool.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah.
It looked like Paul put in a fair, like, I'm not sure if it was for that, but he's lost a fair bit of weight and got back into it for the racing.
Yeah, he has. He wanted to start racing a bit again, and he's been training a fair bit. He's been racing that ute for a bit, but he hasn't really been having too much fun racing that because there's so many different, the makes are so different, and the parity it happens to be in that sport too. But Yeah, so I was like, oh, well, let's just go race the Trans Am and go have some fun, you know?
Yep.
And yeah, he really enjoyed it. And he was actually going to race at the Bend this weekend coming, since, you know, the Trans Am series is there. But he pulled out. He's going to race Mallowah the 2 weeks later with the TO2 series. So
Yeah, right. That'll be
yeah.
that'll be good. I actually RD, the first time I drove for Triple Eight, RD was still there and he was being the team manager for the GT3s on the weekend at the 12 hour. And I was like, oh, I knew he's a hard ass. But I got there and the first day I saw him call me at 8 o'clock, 8:01. I'm like, I bet you I've missed a briefing. So I'm like sprinting. Like I'm literally end of pit lane running. I'm like, yeah, I'm nearly there. So walk in and he's like, that's your first warning. And I'm like, okay, fair enough. Like I knew this is. And then the next day I'm like, I'm going to get there early. So like 7:50, I was sitting in there and I'm sitting in there all smug. And then he walks in and he's like, that's your second warning. And I'm like, what for? He's like, you're sitting in my chair. And all the other people were around me. And I'm like, not one of you guys could have told me this was his chair. Like, so I had to hop up and move. But yeah, he's always, I enjoyed that. It'd be cool to work with him a little bit more, but he's definitely got that tough side on a weekend. Hey.
Yeah, it was pretty funny at the end. There was a bunch of cars, they got put under investigation, like 11 cars. It was a mistake. But, and straight away, as soon as it happens, he pulls out his backpack and his notepad and all the rules. And it was like he's just preparing to go to war. And like he really wanted to go home, but he was so excited about maybe going and having an argument with someone. And then as soon as they, you know, dismissed them all, he just, you know, it was like, oh, right, I'm off now. I've done my duty. I've got the trophy. I've kept my record nice and straight. And, and off he went. But yeah, it was actually a lot of fun.
Yeah, sounds like it was a successful weekend of racing for you guys.
It was. Now let's get stuck
into my venture while I was away. Yeah, we had a lot of fun though. We had I brought Ainsley again. Ainsley's coming everywhere lately.
I hope you pay well.
Yeah. I feel like I do. God, she's overpaid actually, but but no, we did what we did last time. We actually went over. We got there about a week before, and we were able to go to Daytona, which was pretty cool because I haven't been there. Went down to.
So it's your first time?
Yeah, first time. It was cool. Like I don't think it's as big. What's the big one at the start? Is it the 500? That's the yeah. So it obviously wasn't that. It was the race later in the year, but the crowd was pretty cool, and it was great to see that and see the banking and just go and watch. You know, I went and had a look. We were pretty jet lagged still, so had a look there. Had a bit of fun Saturday night. We went out, which was interesting. It's a different place over there, that's for sure. There was some interesting bars and all that sort of stuff, so that was pretty interesting.
Yeah,
but
Daytona Beach can get pretty rowdy.
Yeah, they do like a bunch of they do heaps of events down there, don't they? And
yeah, it's pretty popular. Cool. It's like popular college, you know, summer break spot and all that sort of stuff. I don't know what season it is when you're over there, but did you get to actually walk up the banking though?
Yeah, I walked up, but it's actually tough to walk up.
Yeah, you can't actually. It's pretty hard to describe. But if you were standing up straight and fell over, you wouldn't fall far.
Yeah,
right?
yeah, no, that's right. Yeah, it's actually amazing. It's hard to show that, but yeah, so we did that. I had an interesting one, didn't we? You can ask it, Ains.
Yeah, no, I was just going to say your night out with the Triple Eight boys, they were obviously over there because they won the Pit Crew Challenge last year.
Yeah.
And you just had to go and catch up with them and met some people.
Yeah, that was cool. That was great of the team because the boys won the pit stop challenge. They sent all our pit stop crew over there. So they were over in Daytona after checking out the NASCAR team. So that's actually why I went a bit early. I wanted to catch up with them while I was over there and spend a bit of time with the boys. But we decided after the Daytona race we were going to head out into one of the bars, and I walk in and there's this guy there and he's just joking, like my mechanic Mitch, he goes like, oh, Tommy, and he was wearing a Hilfiger shirt and he was just like paying Mitch out a bit, and then Mitch and him were talking, and then he looks at me and I had my mobile extra and partners hat on with the 13 on the side, and he looks at me and he goes, oh, and he like looks a couple of times, he's like, is that a Will Brown hat? And Mitch is like, yeah, and he's like, oh, I hate that, you know, going on and bagging me out. And I was like, oh, I'll let him run for as long as we can here and sort of feed it. And he's going on, yeah, he's an idiot and all this sort of stuff. And I'm like, oh, this is pretty funny. And I was like, I don't even know why he dislikes me. And then it ended up being Noah Gregson. And he's like, yeah, first corner at Sonoma, Will Brown just punted me off. And I'm like, oh, well, this makes sense. And then after a while, I let him go. And then I'm like, I am Will Brown. And he's like, oh. And then he was great all night actually after that. He's a good fella. So we got on the beers together and he was a lot of fun, but it was funny because it was so random. I actually didn't know who he was and I'm in a different country. I'm in Daytona and I'm like, how does this guy know? One, how does he know who I am? 2, why doesn't he like me? Like, has he seen something on Facebook? And then I'm like, oh, he's a Cup Series driver, and I punted him off at Sonoma, so that makes sense. But we ended up being good friends, so that was...
Well, you kind of punted him too hard because you forgot what you look like.
Yeah, that's right. So, no, he was all right. So that was a bit of fun. So we ended up at Daytona Beach. That set my jet lag back off. I felt like I just got back into American time zone. Then we went out and got home at like, by the time you finish the race, it's 1 o'clock, 12 o'clock at night. Go out for a few drinks, 4 a.m. So I was back in Australian time zone. So that sucked. But yeah, did that. Headed back to Charlotte and got prepared for the weekend. So that was good. That was normal. The simulator and all that sort of stuff. It was the same as what we did last time. Able to use the same seat. Random over there, so much different to here, eh? Like, you'd be used to it, but did the seat, and then they're like, oh, just to make sure it's right, do you just want to head out on the road and take the car for a run? And I'm like,
I saw that.
I'm like, are you sure? Like, in Australia, we wouldn't even be able to start it up and drive it because supercars have the ECU.
That's
you
correct,
can't do it. Like, there's so many guidelines around it, let alone being able to drive on a road. And they're like, nah, it's fine. So I'm just up there cutting laps, and I'm like, I better turn this thing off. Like, are the cops going to come? What's going to go on? And they're like just radioing because I had the radio in the car. Like, you can do another like 5-10 laps if you want. So I'm just cruising down, cutting laps around the workshop. And
it was like 5 p.m. So there was all people leaving work. But then they would just tell you like, oh, just hold up. There's a ute pulling out in front of you on the way back.
That's right. They're like spotting for me, telling me where people are when I'm coming around corners and that. But that was good because you know what it's like. Like, you do a seat fin, you think it's right till you drive the car.
It's so hard to, even like when you're, and you don't do it, it's really hard to know when you're actually full and you're actually traveling at a speed too. Like, I find it hard to know like how I'm comfortable until I'm out there.
Yeah, 100%.
And then I might want to change something.
And it's even hard just driving around there, but I was able to like get up to speed and blip on the down changes, and the steering wheel, I was like, yeah, it's too close to me. I want to move it away. So I wouldn't, with the way it is over there and you can't touch cars after qualifying, I wouldn't have been able to adjust any of that if I wanted to anyway, I believe.
That's true, yeah.
So I just would have been like it. So got to drive around and do the sim. The sim was really good. We went well on the sim.
We had to go well at something.
Yeah, that's one thing I went well at least. And then my favourite part of the whole week was going white water rafting. We went white rafting.
I saw that.
We hopped on the boat. I've always wanted to go. And Mitch, do you remember Mitch McAvoy that works Triple Eight? He's literally the first one in. I've just pushed him, and the poor bugger just tripped out of the boat into the water straight.
After we did like a 10-minute safety briefing about like staying inside the boat and like putting life jackets and helmets on.
It was the best. God, it made my day. So we did that. And then we flew over to Portland, but to be honest, like literally the worst. I've never been that slow in my life, to be honest. It was very disappointing because we spent I think, it was great that the team got me back, and to be honest, they put in a lot of effort. Like, all the guys back in the workshop, they want to go there and win, and they were so keen and helping out, like, driving the car around there, doing the seat and everything. They spent a lot of time on making sure it was right, but in practice we were just slow. I was like, I don't know what to tell you. I'm struggling here. It's just loose. Like, whenever I got up on a curb, it's like it'd really snap it sideways and change the characteristics of the car. It'd understeer, then snap sideways. And I was struggling with it. But I thought I was struggling with my braking because I wasn't getting second gear. So I was doing, like, my braking was just all out of whack. So I'm like, I think once we get the new gearbox in and my braking's better, it'll all probably come together. So after qualifying, I was like, yeah, in the race, we should be able to move through. Got into the race. And, well, how it first came up actually, I was doing my warm-up laps, and you know how sometimes when you're just going slow in a car you have more time to feel and you're like, what's it doing? I was like, in the warm-up lap, I think Ainsley had the cans on and Andrew, they were listening, and I'm like, hey guys, like, it doesn't feel like it's driving straight. It feels like it's crabbing and it's moving left and right. Is this normal? Like, I'm like, you know how the Gen 3s have a bit of slop in the steering? I'm like, is this just something that these cars do? And they're like, oh, we're not sure. It should be fine, but we'll check it in the first stop. So I literally got in the race and I was going backwards. Like, if it wasn't for turn 1, and I started 30th, if it wasn't for turn 1 in the back chicane, I was gaining like 6/10 under brakes there, I would have been nowhere. And then, yeah, we got halfway through the race. The cool suit failed, unfortunately, which was quite tough. It's hot over there.
That's the worst thing that fears me is I'd rather not wear a cool suit than have one that fails.
Well, I didn't notice until like I think I started getting hot at the end of stint 1, and I'm like, this is getting hot. And then midway through stint 2, when like I was struggling with the car, but also the heat, I'm like, the cool suit must have failed. Like, I need you guys to unplug it and drain it out or do something in the next stop because we've got 3 minutes. Like, this is so bad. And then I literally just came out of turn 1 and the car characteristics didn't change that bad into turn 2, but smoke was just going everywhere. And the worst part is that because the car characteristics didn't change that much.
What was the
even
slope
though-
from?
That was where the chassis broke. So
Oh.
the chassis broke. So obviously
Yeah.
it'd been cracked through, and I'm guessing that's why we were slow. And what you would know better, but it's what
Track
holds
bar.
the track bar. So it
Yeah,
holds
yeah.
the diff in and everything.
Yeah, it holds the diff laterally. So the diff, if the track bar breaks, the diff can just slide across the rear of the car.
So the way it cracked, it looked like it had cracked and then snapped at the end, like it was in two different spots. And so smoke just started coming out everywhere. But
Because
the car,
the tires would have been rubbing.
yeah, but the car didn't feel any different. So I didn't know that it was tire rub because like I didn't know I had damage. Like generally tire rub is you've hit someone, you know it's rubbing or something's going on. And because I didn't hit anything and I just drove through the corner and it started rubbing, smoke started coming in the cabin. I thought I was on fire. And I'm like, but then I'm like, and I was like, I could smell like it was burning. And I'm looking around, I'm like, I don't even know how to hop out of this thing. Like, because the window nets, like they tape them. And
Yeah, yeah.
obviously you could probably just rip it. But I'm like, where's a fire truck? How do I know how to get out of this thing? I'm thinking like, hope this thing doesn't proper come up. And then when I was going down the back straight, it just like nearly started engulfing. I'm like, it's got to be on fire somewhere. And then luckily one of the guys said over the radio, we think it's just tire rub. And I was like, oh, righto. Came in, sat there, and I was cooked due to the cool suit. I was like,
You had no helmet fan either,
yeah,
did you?
well, the helmet fan just wasn't cold at all, like wasn't blowing that hard, and that was a hard part as well. But yeah, just really hot from just running around. I was like, oh geez, I wonder if they're going to be able to fix this. And then literally hopped out of the car and saw that the chassis had cracked through and just the diff was moving left to right. So we were out. So yeah, I haven't had a very good run in America. That's 3 starts, 3 DNFs. So I think that's it's been pretty disappointing, to be honest.
So you're going to do it again or?
Oh, to be honest, I don't know now. Like, that was, also for sponsors and that, like everyone that's tipping in money, it's been pretty tough run over there to for me even to go back and ask, hey, let's go do it again. I don't really have the runs on the board for that, but also it's just, I don't know. It was a tough finish to be honest, because I was quite happy that I got that opportunity after what happened at, Chicago. I thought, oh, this is cool that they've given me this opportunity, but I feel like Portland just kicked me when I was down. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah, that was meant to be sort of your redemption.
That
run.
was meant to be my redemption. I thought Xfinity, I should be able to run well. Shane ran that car not that car, but ran for Core League last year and won. Should be able to run well. But yeah, we just literally had I was literally 2 seconds off the pace. So that's what we were. And then it cracked. But I'm guessing, unfortunately, there was some underlying things there that, like I say, I don't think it was that the team weren't putting in the effort at all, because Core League, the guys there and girls put in a lot of effort for the weekend. And
It's just racing sometimes.
yeah, it is 100%. And that's the hardest thing, is that, that could happen in one of our cars. Well, not that exact thing, but something could happen in our cars. They could, break down. That's just the possibility you have when you go car racing, unfortunately. But yeah, that was my weekend done. But something that was pretty cool after coming back, and I had heard it over there, and I saw it was potentially happening, but I heard it a bit more over there about the Austin Cindric coming out and doing a wild card.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So that's all announced and happening.
Yeah, that's going to be pretty interesting.
Yeah.
How do you reckon he'll run?
I don't know. What can you expect, really?
Yeah, I reckon it'll be pretty tough for him, but he has driven, because they do have a supercar over there. It's a Gen 2 one. It's been modified a bit to be more like a NASCAR, less downforce and stuff.
Yep.
So I know that those Penske guys do time in that to train for Cup, basically.
Yeah, right.
So he has driven a supercar before, but I think coming in and driving one of our cars
At Adelaide?
at Adelaide is probably going to be pretty tricky. I think just the way with how they're set up and stuff, and obviously you can't run off, otherwise you crash.
Yeah.
And the big thing for us is you can't have a spare car. So
Yeah, I guess you can rebuild our cars and not go to the back of the field. So that's something that, we can get a fair bit of damage and usually rebuild our cars. But
how many cars last year that crashed at Adelaide got rebuilt and ran? Not many.
yeah, turn 8's the problem. Like everywhere else, you can stick it in generally and you're going to get away with it. But I don't know, I think, I don't want to be harsh, but I think if you say he's going to run inside the top 20, I'd be surprised. I think that would be a very good effort if he runs inside that for a first, one, you haven't been to Adelaide, maybe he's driven a supercar, but not really competitively, you know what I mean? So, yeah.
The odds are against him.
Oh, 100%, 100%. There was also talk, and I have no idea, I thought someone was talking about Connor Zilic maybe doing a wild card. This was getting thrown around a bit when we were over there. Did you hear that as well, Ains?
Yeah. A couple of people asked us if it was happening, because obviously you're Red Bull.
Yeah, a few people asked us, like, oh, is Connor actually coming out and doing a wild card here? And I was like,
I haven't heard anything about that being spoken here, but who knows?
Righto. Yeah, I'm not sure. Yeah, I haven't heard anything about it, but that was interesting. But it's good one of them are coming out. Like, I think it's good that Austin wants to do better himself. Like, go, okay, well, I want to get better. I want to see what these guys are about over here. And I guess, you can see that it transfers. He can see that, like Shane, what he's done over there. So to come out and step up and do Adelaide, I think is pretty impressive, really.
Yeah, so he's done a test in 2014 and 2016 in a supercar.
Yep.
And was considering coming over before he went into Truck Series back in 2017.
I do remember that because actually when I was over there, Scott Pye was saying that he did a test. He actually drove Scott's car. I think that might have been the 2016 test when Scott was with Penske.
Yeah, yep.
He did the day with Scott and that. But that'll be interesting. I think I'll be keen to see what happens.
Yeah, well, that should be cool. I wonder how much testing they'll give him and stuff to let him get up to speed and what tracks they'll allow him to go to. And
yeah, see, that's going to be the thing that they're going to get. Like, you go over to NASCAR and, their sport's so big that they're just like, yeah, come and drive. But I'm sure that Supercars will be like, hey, we'll give you a test day at Tail and Bend and we'll allow you to run. So he's not just going to show up and do one practice and be into it. I'm sure he'll get a full test day and then obviously a couple of practice. So hopefully they, and it's good. I think it's good that they give him that time to at least let him get up to speed and show what he's capable of. So, I think that'll be interesting.
Yeah, it'll be exciting. We'll have to see how that plays out.
Yeah, a question for you guys is I noticed when you did Xfinity, like they played in really well your Supercars Championship and they used a lot of the vision from Fox to promote you racing there. Do you guys think Supercars should manipulate our calendar to allow for Xfinity or Cup road course ringer deals to promote Supercars internationally?
I think that they should look at the calendars now that more supercar drivers are able to put deals together to go over there. I think that they should consider that in our calendar. Obviously, it depends. I'm sure they've got a lot going on with, other, I guess, what would you call it? Things that are on, like if it's
like school holidays and stuff,
school holidays
and
all that. They've got to think about all that sort of stuff over here. But I think it'd be good to try and leave the main road courses free because when we're over there, you notice how many people actually are watching Supercars as well, due to Shane being over there, but then also us going over there a little bit, Jack going over there. They start showing interest in it. So I think it's very good for Supercars. And I think, the more of us that could go over there and sort of get our names out in Supercars over there is good. So, I would say that they should think about at least the main ones that are their big road course races next year.
Yeah, I think so. I mean, it depends on... I mean, I'd prefer just to race more here, but, we can't have everything. But
I think that's me too now.
I don't know, you've been getting flogged here too, just like me.
Yeah, I've finished here though.
True.
Yeah.
So I'd prefer to just race more here. So I think they're obviously trying to do more racing here and want to put 14 races on the calendar. But it's sort of hard because we're competing against other sports here too. And I'm not necessarily a big fan of taking big breaks.
No.
So, or if we do a big break, just do a big one in the middle of the year and condense the series into two parts.
Yeah. Yeah, well, you look at that's another question. Like, you look at the IndyCar series that's already finished. Like, and I know it's not as big as NASCAR over there, but do we take a bigger break over Christmas and then condense this? We used to start end of March, I thought.
Yeah.
Where now, did we start in February this year?
Yeah, we're starting earlier and we're finishing at the same time and we've got less races.
Yeah, so if you could get it to 14 races, start end of March, so we actually get our 3 months off over Christmas and that, and everyone's sort of away and gets in holiday mode anyway, and then condense down the season.
Because it's pretty tough, like as much as we don't race that often, as in like we race the 13 weekends a year, but the crew are actually away for a fair amount of the year. So, it takes a toll on everyone like that as well, where you're away, from, you don't get much of a holiday period.
Yep.
And, it sort of thins out the crew as well to a point. Like it's been harder to find staff. I think every team sort of found that. And I think that, little things like that, like extending the break and condensing the series into a shorter period would be, I guess, more beneficial.
Have we done 7 rounds so far, right? So,
We've done 8.
8. Yeah. So I reckon 5 out of the 8 rounds I've been away for minimum a week.
Yeah.
So where NASCAR, the crews flew in on the Friday morning. They fly, obviously, they rent a plane and take everyone on one, but they flew in Friday morning and out Saturday night. So they were literally gone for 2 days, one night for the event. So even though not exactly saying we need to do that, but the week long events away. Like, you know, I can see how NASCAR, racing every weekend is hard. Like they've got a lot on their calendar, but we need to find some way to condense our weeks and make sure that you're there on Thursday morning, out Sunday if it's a 4-day week, like that we're not there for a week.
Yeah, it's pretty hard though because our racing's a lot different. Our race is like a bit of like a festival.
Yeah,
like,
true.
You know, we go to, you know, for example, Darwin, and we have to be there earlier for the obviously we do the track to town stuff,
Yep.
and there's government requirements as part of us going there and all that sort of stuff. So it's a whole different world.
It's hard to change it, isn't it?
Yeah, it's hard to sort of change. I think we just need to make it better.
I was just looking at Adelaide for the final system, and the final 4 drivers need to be there Monday morning for a finals, you know, like TV thing. And it's like, God, that's a big week. Like,
That is a long week.
That's already, you're probably going to have to get there Sunday night then.
Yeah.
And you're there till the following Monday. Then you got Gala Tuesday. So you're there for 8 days.
In Adelaide for a week and a half.
Yeah, that's right. So it's like, I completely agree with you. Adelaide as well is like a festival. It starts Wednesday or Thursday or whatever on track. But yeah, it's interesting how long, like when people talk about that we don't race enough, it's completely different to NASCAR, our racing, because we're away for so long. Like that's 14 week proper weeks we're away for, not 14 weekends. So that's a bit interesting, but hopefully they look at the calendar and see what we can do from there.
I'll put money on a few people being racing in San Diego next year.
Yeah, I'm sure a lot of would want to do San Diego
If it doesn't conflict.
but it's once again putting the deal together like we talked last time.
It's a lot of work.
Yeah, a lot of work. There's a lot of Ford drivers that probably want to go race now at the end of next. Like, you know, we switch over to Ford, so I know Brock's mate showed interest in wanting to do it. Cam really wants to do it. I've wanted to do it. So I think I don't know. I don't think you'll see as many people as we think over at San Diego. I think you'll see one supercar driver over there.
Well, time will tell. Well, one thing you did miss while you were away there was the Bathurst and Toyota launch.
Yeah, so they launched it all together. So
In one, yeah.
Yep. How'd that work? So they were just doing a Bathurst and...
so it was like the Bathurst launch for, went through a bit of the history of Bathurst and, I guess, it is our great race.
Yeah.
And they launched the Toyota at the same time, which I thought was a bit interesting. But
I actually thought I called you and you said the event was pretty good though.
the event was good. Credit to, it was actually Neil Cropton's idea. I found through a source that we all know. But he got an orchestra together, and that's not really like my scene. I'm not really a big music person, but an orchestra together and they played and it was actually really cool. It was actually a lot different than what we've done in the past so credit to Neil. It was actually a pretty good night, I thought. Most drivers were required to go. We didn't really do too much at the launch, to be honest. We just went up and stood up the front for the intro and that was about it.
What did you think of the Toyota?
I hope it looks a lot different after it goes in the wind tunnel.
It looks like a GT3, like a proper GT3
yeah,
car.
it looks a lot different than it's so small and so like teardrop shaped towards the back of the car because that's just what the car profile is. So like I know the Ford struggle with not being able to put enough drag on it compared to the Camaro, for example.
Yep.
And those cars look similar.
Yeah.
And then the Supra looks completely different.
It looked really, like the nose of it looked really long. Like
we're having a lot of, when they pulled the covers off, I was standing next to Chaz and we're having a bunch of jokes because it looks like it's got like a lot of overhang because the nose is so long. And I was like, man, if you qualify on pole, you're halfway to turn one because we line up the front wheels on the line and the bonnet overhangs past and it looks like it's got such a long overhang. So
it looked like the splitter though, like our splitters end sort of at the front of the car, but it looked like their splitter, like the bottom part of it stuck out a long way.
Yeah,
is that right?
It's a lot, I don't know, it's just a lot different looking to how I guess the two cars are there like now, and the Ford and the Camaro look a lot different now, but maybe we're just used to looking at them, because they've been out for a while now. But, I remember when, the Ford and the Camaro first launched and I was like, well, the Ford looks way different than the way they've tried to achieve the aero, and then the Supra's gone crazy again. So, yeah, I guess time will tell. It still has to go do all this tunnel time and stuff, so it could look a lot different than what it is now.
It's cool that it's all coming together though. Like
I think it's good we got 3 manufacturers in. To bring in Toyota as, one of the world's largest.
Yeah, like if it was, it'd still be great to get a Kia or something in, but I know for years they were talking about trying to get like a Kia Stinger in, but getting Toyota is the biggest fish you can get at the end of the day. Like it's pretty cool to have them in the category, very similar to NASCAR now, 3 categories, 3 manufacturers, which is cool. So I was watching from afar, I saw it all going down there, but Yeah, I was flying back, so
It was actually when they did pull the covers off. I was standing next to Cam, and Cam, because it looked so GT3 like.
Yeah.
Cam walked straight up to Chaz and congratulated him on the championship for next year. So that was pretty. Like we're all standing there, and I'm just like pissing myself laughing, and then I think Richie's like, "Oh, it won't be Chaz, it'll be Woody because Woody's beating." It was just so funny.
Oh, that's awesome. That's awesome. And then with them, I guess one thing we wanted to go over was, like, obviously the Toyota's coming out, but then they've been talking about the Ford Ford Gen 3 car, and obviously our Camaros are going to go into, there's been some talk about that going into Super 2. When's that happening? Because you know more about that.
Yeah, so there's a bit of noise about this. I've seen there's a bit of fair few articles about it, but they want to bring him into Super 2, I believe, in 27. So there's only 3 or 4 teams that want to do that at the moment, and I think that's BJR, your team, Triple Eight.
Yep.
And I think 1 or 2 others. I'm not really too sure who they were, but they're not actual.
Well, it'd probably be like Tickford or someone.
Yeah, I'm not too sure, but I think I was talking to Ben and Rachel about it, and it's a fair outlay to go spend a lot of money to go upgrade the cars. Whereas the last few years it's been, they went from Blueprint to Car of the Future, which was a big change. Do you remember that? And they had to allow some blueprints to race because there wasn't enough cars, vice versa. But those cars actually had a lot of interchangeable bits. So like the front ends, for example, on a Triple Eight car still worked on a Car of the Future car, whereas now they go into Gen 3 and everything is new. So basically everything that, for example, Eggleston's have, they've only had this car now for 2 to 3 years, and normally they have them for about 5 to 7 years.
Yep.
So they can recoup their costs. So now that's, they can't recoup their outlay for money, and they have, how many cars they got?
Yeah, well, they have
It's a massive outlay.
I feel like they have actually probably run the VF or ZB, for a little bit longer than we think, haven't they? How many years would they run them for now?
I think it's 4. 3.
Okay, so it's still not that long. But the weirdest thing about Gen 3 is generally Super 2 is always an older generation car. Like that's generally, since I've run in Super 2, I've never run like a ZB while main game's running a ZB or a VF while main game was running it. Where now if you put Super 2 into Gen 3 and us in Gen 3, I guess we're literally running the same equipment as Super 2, and I guess lap times, like it's a little bit weird. Usually it's an older style car, I would say.
Yeah, well, I think talking to Ben or H, it sounds like the costs, at the moment is between 600 or probably 550 to 700, depending on what team you're driving for, to go run the full year for Super 2.
Yep.
They're looking at 900 plus if they go to Gen 3
Far out.
to run a season. So as far as
What's the extra cost?
the cars are more expensive to run, so just like front crash structures.
Oh, true.
Everything's
everything's dearer in
everything's
panels
dearer
and that.
Yeah, so everything's a lot dearer, and obviously in Super 2 there's a fair bit of that goes on.
Yeah.
So where is a young, talented kid gonna find 900 plus to go race?
Yeah, you can't.
So, and the other thing too is they've just bought the Trans Am series on to come race with Supercars next year.
Yep.
So a lot of people
But
don't.
do you think you can jump out of a Trans Am into a main game car?
I think, to be honest, I'll put it to you this way: if you could go race Trans Am for the year for 350 to 400, right, or you go race Super 2 for the year for 900,
Yeah.
what do?
But Trans Am shouldn't be 350 or 400 as well, should it? I
Well,
thought Trans Am was cheaper than that. Why has it got to that?
Well, it's probably what it's going to be, to be honest. It is cheaper, but the problem is you go put it on the calendar with Supercars, flights, accommodation,
All the stuff, yeah.
everything all goes up because you're at a Supercars event, and everything's always more expensive on a Supercars weekend. So it's kind of going to I think it's probably going to kill Super 2 in a little bit, especially if they go to that car. I mean, I don't think, you have to drive a supercar to be prepared to come into Supercars. But at the same time, you're probably a good example. You went from F4, you won in that. You went to 86s, you won in that. And then you moved up into Super 2, one or two in that. But my point is, if if you're a winner and you win in everything you drive, you're good enough to be a supercar driver.
Yeah, well, that's true.
So, but it probably hurts the guy that's probably a bit more on the average side and needs the time in the car.
Yep.
So I think it hurts those guys a lot, but it's pretty interesting. So I think the obviously the supercar teams want to push the Gen 3 in because they want to offload
They
the
want to
shit,
sell their
basically.
cars, yeah.
But it's not it should be about the guys like Terry Wyhoon, Ben and Rachel Eggleston, Matty White, for example, he's not in Super 2 at the moment. All those guys that have been around for a while and have brought up through young talent. And what do they do now? Because
Well, and the only way they get cars, I guess, all the teams, if they bring it in soon, is they offer enough money that supercar teams go, oh, we'll build new cars for our guys and get rid of them. Like maybe someone like Matt Stone would build new cars if he could sell his old cars. You know what I mean? And that's why we generally do it. But like you say, it's just too expensive.
Yeah.
It's hard. It's all going that way. Everything just gets more expensive each
Everything
year,
does get more
but
expensive too.
It's just, there's got to be, it's hard to, when you're only doing 5 or 6 events a year to be paying that amount. And also the safety car, like I think they've done a great job of bringing in the 40-minute races now where no matter what, they get the 40 minutes, where they used to get 2 safety cars and get no racing laps. And you've gone and spent a fortune going there for the weekend, and you may as well have paid for a test day and your kid would have got more experience out of doing a test day.
Exactly.
So it's interesting. I think if I had a kid racing, I'd just pay the money for testing for the year. I wouldn't even race them first year. Like I know they don't get the same experience, but nearly the amount of laps you get on a race weekend.
Well, you can't go test a Gen 3. Well, you wouldn't they can't actually go test because the teams can only test 6 times per year.
Have to dehomologate a car,
and they do this to bring the cost down, but at the same time they want to bring in a new car that costs more to run. So it's like then you hurt the kids trying to get developed. So like you see what I'm saying? So whereas you could go run a Trans Am and go run the races for the year, the calendar, and test as much as you like. The tyres last forever, and just keep putting brakes on it and go do miles everywhere. But
so when do you think they're going to bring it out then? What's
they were saying they're pushing for 27.
Yeah, which I know it's not that far away, is it?
No.
Like you think, and by this time next year, teams have to have purchased their cars.
Well, they have to purchase their cars. Everything in their truck that they carry at the moment does not
go on.
Nothing like suspension.
And there's not even a big Super 3 category anymore.
No. So everything that they put in their truck now has to pretty much get dumped and go on the corner, and they have to outlay, parts and all that sort of stuff. I mean, some teams they could walk up to a main game team and go, hey, we want some stuff, but our trucks are only so big as well. So, I mean, like Ben and Rachel run 3 or 4 cars, so they're going to have to carry some spares in case, something happens. It's happened.
Yeah.
So,
it'll be interesting. Like, 27 does seem like a while away, but really, like, to get a good car, if people like Ben and Rachel like buying AAA
how do you get one? Because the collectors keep buying them.
Yeah, Earl and Steve have bought mine and Brock's.
Yeah.
And then we're going to Fords next year. So, there's not enough cars probably around to even buy them. I guess, it'll be interesting. It's a lot of costs. That's the hardest thing for teams like Ben and Rachel that aren't a main game team. Like for someone like Tickford and that, you've already got the asset. You keep it, you build a new one. They sort of, they can build a new one on a little bit of a budget because they, their guys build it and all that sort of stuff. They've got a lot of parts in stock and everything. But for the teams that are actually having to outlay the money to run them, that's definitely tough. But see what happens in that space. Another one I saw was Will Power. Well, I think we were coming back, and that got announced this week. There was a fair bit going on around that though. Like they were saying he wasn't getting re-signed, and that's a big one though.
Do we know who's replacing him?
No, I probably don't follow it closely enough to see that. But they've been. I really thought Will would probably retire at Penske, but
I would have thought of too. But he still runs. I mean, Penske's had a pretty tough year, to be honest.
Yep.
Haven't been as competitive as what they've been. But it was pretty cool to see him. Obviously, he lost that ride, or maybe chose not to. Don't really know, but we'll have to ask him. But to end up at Andretti's is.
Yeah,
he's actually pretty cool.
I hope he runs well next year.
I know, and I don't know how much you've had to speak to him. I mean, he's a Toowoomba lad.
Yeah.
But he is. I remember going over there in America, and I met him for the first time. I think it was in 2013, and was at the go-kart track there, and he was just got this brand new Snap-on toolbox that he'd just gotten through Penske, and he was pulling it off his I think he had like a Tundra or something at the time. He had 2 wooden planks, and the whole toolbox just fell straight over on the thing, and he abused it, kicked it, like in full Australian language, like called it, the C word, everything. Just walked off and just left it there for 40 minutes. And he obviously didn't know that, like, we're Australian next to him. And he come back, and I was like, I'm like, you're right, you need a hand. He's like, oh, you're Aussie. And I was like, yeah. And he goes, well, at least you would have understood what I just said then. He's just such a always down to earth, like nice guy. So
yeah, I've had dinner with him twice in Toowoomba, like over the last 5 to 7 years when he's home, because he literally grew up. He's on the same street as me, so when I was with mum and dad, so he's maybe 500 meters down the road. His old man still is, so yeah, used to catch up with him, but he is funny. But that was big, yeah. I really thought he would, but yeah. Another thing I was watching the on the weekend, I guess open wheelers F1, watched the I guess the highlights and that. I cannot believe the Oscar Lando situation.
What the
team orders?
The team orders.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's pretty interesting, isn't it?
I was angry. I was actually angry. I was like, I just don't think that it's not Oscar's fault. I know it's not Lando's fault, but that's racing. Like, if bloody he had an engine failure last weekend, what do you park Oscar up because bloody Lando's had no engine failure? Like,
maybe explain what happened for people that didn't watch the race.
Yeah, so people that didn't watch the F1, I don't know, So Oscar and Lando, I guess, are going for the championship. Lando had a slow pit stop and was in front, and Oscar, I guess, jumped him on the track and ended up in front of him due to the slow pit stop. So the team asked Oscar to let Lando back past because of that mistake in the pits. But I don't think as a driver I could have done that, what Oscar did. I'm just saying. Like,
I don't know. I think, yeah, Oscar obviously was pretty heated at the moment, but I reckon it shows his maturity, though, of...
Yeah, I'm not mature enough.
Yeah, but to obviously, because it's...
No, in the heat of I agree with you.
It's a heat of the moment for him to show the maturity and just, he sort of let out his thing, basically saying, Oscar's so measured about everything he says too.
Yeah.
And I guess that comes to, I guess having good people around you as well, like obviously having Mark around him and, you do need the team to win the championship. So,
yeah.
Really, in the scheme of things, it's really small, especially with the points gap. But yeah, I guess you got to pick your days, right?
Yeah, right. I can see from that point of view, like you say, if it keeps the team around you, and yeah, like you say, I think it's not as big second to third, like the way the point system works. Like it's 25 points for first, 18 for second, and then like 15 or 16 for third. So the points he gained isn't massive, but I still think it's wrong of the team to ask that after it's not Oscar's mistake. Like, I can't believe that. I feel like if he wins a championship this year, he's won it with them a little bit against him.
I think Oscar could have let him by could have maybe held him up for 2 laps too and just charged his battery for 2 laps and, let him back by, just blown back by him too. So
done something.
Yeah, whereas I think, he let him by and but it all happened. So
yeah, I don't know.
They interviewed Verstappen after the race, and he said he would never have given up the position.
No, definitely. No, that's
no,
just...
Verstappen definitely. Like, and I can't. And he was laughing.
Well, he was laughing in the race about it.
He was laughing about it during the race, and I was like, "That's funny as." But yeah, he made his stance pretty clear on that, wasn't he? When he was with Checo or someone like that, he's like, "Never asked me to move aside," and pretty much they never have to anyway. He's always up the front, but. Yeah, it was pretty funny seeing him laugh about it.
Yeah, really, teammates.
But being an Aussie watching that, I reckon it was tough to watch.
I reckon it's hard to listen to the commentary, more so being so biased about Lando though than anything else.
Actually, someone was saying, I watched all the replays, but someone was saying that they were pretty much saying, yeah, that's fair and all that sort of stuff.
Yeah, I found that more interesting, but anyways.
Yep.
Ford Performance made headlines, changing to Ford Racing.
I didn't even know that. When did that happen?
Like last week.
Really? We must have been in America when it happened, were we?
No, we were back.
Maybe I was still jet lagged. Far out.
Yeah, what was the reason behind that?
What is... You got the reason, Ainsley?
The change in the name.
Yeah.
Yeah, the branding.
I actually don't know. I just know it changed.
I used to like the name Ford Performance.
It's so iconic.
Yeah, I know. I remember having... Back at the car yard, we'd always get FPRs, and you'd be like, "Oh yeah, look at this thing, like the FPR Boss." Yeah.
FPV.
Yeah, that used to be quite iconic. So I wonder what the reason is for Ford Racing, but Obviously a change there. You might have to find that for us, eh? Has you got
Yeah,
anything?
it readies its next-gen family of high-performance road cars that will narrow the gap between its current road cars and racing activity, was their official statement.
So what's that mean?
I
Can you
don't
break
know.
that down for us? We're not very smart.
Yeah, hang on, let me find it.
Chat GPT it.
I'll tell you
I
what,
think
if
it's
we
got a
can't
lot
figure
to
that
do
out,
with-
we're really going to struggle with
Yeah,
the next
yeah,
few
that's
topics.
right.
Oh my.
I guess it's just name change, but
Pretty much. It's kind of just a name change. I think it ties
It's just
in.
a corporate deal, I guess,
Yeah.
isn't it?
Yeah, it's kind of tying in now more with the F1, calling it racing. Like, performance to me, it sounds more like your high-end road car than it does racing, where
Yeah.
racing's very
That's
like,
why we
clear.
drive the cars.
That's what it is.
yeah, that's why we changed. Yeah, that's right. And now
It's a big change, though.
yeah,
like,
it is.
You have to rebrand globally everything you want to do. Like, even their
What
social.
would that cost?
Oh,
It'd be ridiculous.
hundreds of millions, because you have to do every dealership, merchandise, all your partners have to rebrand
None of
everything.
the
Wow.
yeah.
Even their
think
loss, even their like even your
My
hat.
hat's got Ford Performance on it.
Yeah. Like
It's worth nothing now.
socially is a big thing too. Like if you've tagged Ford Performance, that's gone because now it's all changed to Ford Racing. So there's like a lot of digital footprint that's all changed and it's not getting redirected. Like there's a lot of change behind it. For one word, you wouldn't think it's so much, but it's a lot.
Yeah. Well,
Must be worth it.
I'll just have to say Ford Racing because that'll be in. I guess that's in now, is it?
Yeah, it's Ford
Changed for
Racing now.
Well, there
yeah.
we go.
Like
so I know for next year.
Danny Rick's going to be the global Ford Racing
I
ambassador.
did see this actually. I
Yeah.
thought they just brought him on board, but they announced that when they did it.
Yeah,
But
he's
he's
kind
not.
of just
He's not doing any racing.
He
He's
wants
just
to do
ambassador.
nothing.
No, he's
He-
kind of just a ambassador, and he's going to drive a Raptor. But they were teasing it as if like he could come back, and people were saying maybe he might drive Baja or something.
But then he come out and said he's done.
yeah,
Yeah, he's
I don't
really
know.
he's obviously just done with it all. He must feel,
Nah, let's get him back.
yeah, like the Hyundai XLs.
I don't know, maybe we
Clippy
just start
Cup.
small.
Yeah, that's
Start
right.
small and go back up from there.
That's it. Build him back up. Well, we're heading into Tail and Bend, I guess. We
Enduro season.
Enduro season. It's a big time of the year. I'm not sure about Tail and Bend being an enduro, to be honest. That's like I think I love Sandown. You know, we lost Gold Coast a couple of years ago, and that was like, oh yeah, Sandown. Now, you know, Sandown gone as a co-driving event. I think that's tough, but you know, it's always cool to go try something new and see what will happen at Tail and Bend and what the racing's like and the two drivers and all of that. But I don't know, it's a tough one after leaving Sandown, don't
The
you reckon?
sprint format was actually pretty good last time we were there. Like the racing wasn't too bad, but yeah.
You just like it because you won every race and qualified on pole by like 4/10. That's the only reason you're.
No, but the
liking it.
racing was actually pretty good though throughout the field.
How'd
though.
you know? You're in the lead for the whole race and you
I
didn't even
wasn't.
see him?
I fell back to fourth in one of the races and then I just motored past everyone with my big 5.7.
Yeah, that's right. Oh no, I think it's a good time of the year, like you say. Like it's cool. I always like. I'm sure you get along with Todd well. I've got Scott there. Like it's always an enjoyable time of the year. Just bringing two new drivers in. They generally are sort of fresh, excited.
Yeah.
It's a good time.
Yeah, it is. Like I really enjoy Enduro season. It's like probably my most favorite part of the year, I think. You know,
Yep.
getting to share it with another driver, like you said, and it's always good when, I guess like another set of eyes comes into the workshop and Todd's doing a bunch of racing as well. So he's
Yep.
always got, a different point of view on things and he's been around a few of the rounds as well. So, he's been trying to, I guess, keep up with like, how the car's been going, what's it drive like and I guess compared to what he was used to last year. So
Yep.
yeah, it's always good having him around.
I know there's been a lot of discussion around obviously the cars, like one track favouring the other a little bit more, but looking at like the sensitivities and that, like there's pretty high aero this track, which generally is a little bit like we see like Sydney and that. Sometimes the Fords be a bit faster, but then here it's got the straights as well. So I don't know. It'll be interesting to see. Like I think it'll be an very evenly matched weekend.
I don't think so.
You don't reckon?
No, I keep hearing this about some tracks being more favourable and the Fords better in corners, but yeah, we went to the most aerodynamic track, Grand Prix, and the Fords were horrible compared to the Camaros.
I think that was the people driving them though. I think.
Yeah,
that was
you're
really-
right, actually. Yeah, you're right, actually.
No. Oh, I just thought it'd be interesting, like to see this weekend. But yeah, it will be interesting to see how everyone runs. I was actually looking at, we had our pre-brief this morning, so that's why I messaged you a heap of things. I was like, what do you reckon about this? What do you reckon about that? But they've brought in a few things that I reckon's weird for this weekend. So one being after last year, I remember, and I guess our team, we were a little bit unhappy as well, but I'm sure every team. So Todd drove around like, because he was quite light last year and you're on the heavier side. He was like, I think he drove around 20 kilos underweight.
Yeah, it's like 22 under.
So
yeah.
22 kilos underweight. So they made
For
a change
32% of the race.
for 32% of the race. So
Yeah.
so enough, but like
Or
you say,
30 to
he's
40%
not
of the race,
finishing.
yeah.
He wasn't starting last year on that, but it's still a bit of an advantage. But this year they brought in a new driver weight, which I was trying to get my head around.
An average between the two drivers.
So how does that? I'm still trying to get my head around it. So how does that work?
What basically works is in like, for example, Todd with his kit and like seat inserts like 93 or 92 or something, and with mine I'm like 105. So it's the average between them. So pretty much I'll drive around 5 or 6 kilos over the weight,
But you're
over the minimum weight.
Yeah. So this year, I'm guessing as well. You guys have been telling Todd to fatten up a bit. Like,
Oh, of course.
yeah. So,
Yeah,
but
I've
it's
been
a
trying to trim
strategy.
down. He's
been
fatting up. Yeah,
he's been eating everything.
yeah. Every
and
time he's into the workshop, there's caramel slice.
hasn't been running. He's been bulking up. So, yeah, which is the obvious thing to do to get you guys closer. But you guys aren't even the worst case scenario. Like I'm pretty sure I was thinking about on the drive down here, like Jack LeBrock's with Jared Hughes.
Yeah, that's like 30 something kilos between those two.
30 something. So
Yeah.
Jack's going to have to finish the race. So like you say, the co-drivers might do, say even they do 45 laps. So say they do, I don't know, 40% of the race. So Jack's going to have to do the last 60% and finish the race with 16, 17 kilos.
15 kilos.
15 kilos
Yeah.
heavier.
Yeah, it's
Which what do you
ridiculous.
reckon that is in lap time?
Oh, around there, it's like 2/10.
2/10?
Yeah.
Which
so,
is a fair bit. You
Yeah,
know,
it's times
over-
that by how many laps he does, and
Yeah.
it's not looking good, is it?
Yeah, it's not
It's
nothing.
pretty, yeah, it's honestly, yeah, I don't know. It's a bit interesting. I mean, I can understand why they did it, but at the same time, yeah, I guess the case that was used last year was Todd and myself, and I guess D Russ the year before, but you know, and Shane and I guess Richie as well, because they were 20 kilos, but at the same time, you know, I qualified the car, qualified it on pole, finished the race.
See,
I don't really
I could
know.
be wrong with saying this, but I feel like we've got enough. Like we change brakes and rotors in a stop sometimes. We make, you know, rear adjustments. We change drivers. How's there not some quick release system that we can use from the drive door, like where they change the water bottle? How can we not somehow take a 5 kilo weight out, like, and do it?
I don't know. I thought of this on the way here, and yeah, there probably is a way to do it where you'd have to see. The problem is they can't actually prove if you have the weight in after a pit stop is the hardest thing, and they can't stop you
But
mid
surely,
race and
like-
go, "Hey, let's pull over and just come in the pits and we'll come have a look." But I thought about if you could create like a system that had like literally a load cell on it, and it could detect what weight was sitting on a plate, then it could be sent through telemetry.
Yeah, but if you started the race with the right amount, if they knew how much you had to be at, you started the race because the co-drivers are starting, they take that out. Someone was there to weigh that, and then they weigh the car at the end when you finish. Isn't that a way to do
Yeah,
it?
you
that
could,
would
but
know?
it's still hard to prove. Like you'd have to
Yeah.
create a bunch of ruling and stuff around it. So I don't know. Like I find like I obviously did the TO2 race, and Alice Buckley drove with Tim Slade, for example. So
Yep.
she drove around 20 kilos under because she was 20 kilos lighter than Tim Slade. Now think about how small Tim Slade is.
Yeah, true.
So if Alice Buckley, who's an up and comer and is doing a really good job, say in a year and a half, wanted to come race
Go drive.
supercars, what best case she'd go drive with, say, someone that's on average weight of 85 kilos. I think the average is like 85 or
and
something.
she'd be, what, 50, you would say?
Yeah, something like that, or 50, 55. Sorry, Alice, not really too sure. But yeah, so what supercar team owner is going to go, oh, well, my main driver's got to suffer 25 kilos for 60% of the race. How does that make sense?
Yeah, it does. Yeah, that's the thing. Like, I can completely understand why they brought in, because Todd was really fast last year, and D-Russ was, and it's not like, once again, we're not saying like, but, you know, we say 15 kilos, 2/10 around there. Like if Todd was 15 or 20 lighter last year, well, he might be 3/10 at Bathurst. So it's hard for other co-drivers to beat him. But I guess Todd's not finishing the race. He's just doing the start. Well, he could be, yeah. You never know. He could, because he's so, you know, he did such a great job. But it's a very hard one because you can't let them be 15, 20 kilos underweight because they do have an advantage. But then it's hard for, you know, like Jack LeBrock, if he was running third and he's 15 kilos over, it's a pretty big disadvantage, really, being a main driver at that. So that was interesting. I was trying to understand all that. And like, for me, it works perfectly. Me and Scott, like you want to be the same weight as your co-driver. So I think me and Scott are very close. So it doesn't really matter for us. Brock and Jamie, it's the same. So for our team, it's not really a big talking point. But
I think another one is, Woody and Ojada's a little bit of a split there too, I think. So,
yeah.
But
Woody's trimmed down a bit, though. Woody, yeah. And I'd say JD's got a bit of muscle on. I reckon that'd only be 5 or 10, don't you? 5?
I'm not sure.
Yeah, I don't think. But obviously the LeBrock one. But then, next year, now with this, you signed your co-drivers last year, probably not knowing what the rule would be next year. Do you think about that a bit more if you've got 2 co-drivers?
Well, definitely. That's why they've paired Fabs with Chaz.
Yeah, true.
I believe.
Yep.
So they're obviously close in weight, so Chaz isn't disadvantaged. But yeah, comes in. Rules add a lot of co-drivers for me, for example.
Yeah, well, that's true. Yeah, you couldn't get like a Tim Slade, like you say.
Yeah.
Like it'd just make it too hard. So
it's
interesting. Yeah, be interesting to find out if they can do some sort of quick release, like sort of you can take 5 kilos in and out quite easy, or 10.
It was funny as soon as one team, their driver left to go drive in America, they were the first ones to start complaining. So
we're pretty switched on.
Yeah, your team runs the sport basically.
Oh, come on. There's no need for that. Another one that we're running through that I texted you about on the way down, and I was...
Oh, hang on. Let me grab my PhD. Where is it?
Yeah. Oh, this one's tough. I actually do not understand this.
So you got briefed on this morning, so I still yet to get briefed about it.
Okay, so we'll run through it here. So what we're talking about is they've now brought out a new safety car rule. Obviously, a couple of years ago, a year ago, they went that, no, we can't race back to the pits anymore. You've got to go into full course yellow. What that allowed is, like we talked on our last show, is that everyone just runs till as late as they can till the fuel tanks run out, hope there's a safety car, and anyone, like Cam Waters did at Ipswich and got in the lead by double pitting, and anyone who has pitted lose a lot of time. Like they gain heaps of advantage by pitting under full course yellow. Well, now they're like, how do we fix this? How do we stop, people running to the end and just making up heaps of time? So I believe the way I got briefed is they're doing full course yellow. They're closing the pit lane. So when we get the 15-second signal, so they say 15 seconds till pit lane closed and you're coming out of the last corner, you can't pit. Pit lane's closed. If you're breaking into the pit lane, you can commit to it and you can take the pit lane. If you're under full course yellow and you need fuel, so you're out of fuel, you can't do an extra lap, which is possible. That happens a fair bit. You're allowed to pit under full course yellow and get 5 seconds worth of fuel, not the full amount. So I'm guessing that stuffs your strategy a lot.
So we've gone from, so let me get this straight. So from what you've just explained to me, we've gone from staying out for as long as possible because hoping for a VSC to pit under that. Now we can't pit under the VSC or the safety car.
So you can't run your tank out.
So now you pit on the front side of the window for every race to protect yourself. You have to.
Well, I'm guessing so, yeah. And then now... Yeah, well, yeah, that's what I'm starting to understand. Like I was trying to run.
You know what? I feel sorry for the commentators because having to when this happens.
The weird thing is they're going to let you run around, so they're going to close the pit lane, let you drive around under the 80-kilometre-an-hour thing, and then they're going to go. It's safe out there to accelerate, so they're going to go deactivate limiters,
but still under safety car.
And you're still under safety car, and you're going to speed up as fast as you can, like we used to.
Not as fast as you can.
I'm going to go as fast as I can.
For as safe as you can.
Fast as I can, as safely as I can. And then once you hit the sector that the crash is still in, you have to jam on your brakes, go back to 80 kilometres an hour, drive at 80 kilometres an hour through the sector that the crash is in. So we got to work out where the sectors are and see that.
So just pause there for a second. So, for example, if there's cars in front of you and you are trying to close up, well, do you have to close up the gap?
Well, I guess you would want to, because if you close up the gap, then your team's quicker in pit lane, or you've got a little bit better fuel. No, they're going to. They're opening pit lane. This is the confusing part.
Oh my!
So you're under safety, you're under full course yellow. You're driving around with your full course yellow 80-kilometre-an-hour button on for 2 laps, and then pit lane's closed. Unless you're going to run out of fuel, you can go in, and you can only get 5 seconds of fuel, so you're going to lose time by going in and getting 5 seconds of fuel because you're not filling the tank up, so you have to pit again anyway. 5 seconds.
So how dangerous do you think it would be, say, at the end of Bathurst, we're coming down the chase, and there's a car that's gone off in there, and we're doing 280 k's an hour, and we've got to get down to a sector line that's at 80, and we're in a pack.
This is a new thing that we were talking about.
And the first thing that the other mob will say is that, oh, well, you're under safety car, so you got to drive at a safe thing. But if you lose 5 seconds in that instance, what does your team do to you? They go,
Yeah,
oh,
that's
you lose
right.
5 seconds.
And
Like,
we
we're
just
paid to
study
be
we
race
just
car
study it
drivers.
and go, how can we do a better job and how do we not lose that 5 seconds next time you have to brake to the line and we're not going to lose 5 seconds. Like
Yeah,
we're not.
we can't. We get paid
Yeah.
to go fast, so that's just what it is. But okay, so that's interesting.
So I'm gonna try to run it through properly. So so say we're driving around. It's lap. So I think we can do roughly 29 laps there or something as a stint. So running around. We're about to finish lap 27. Safety car comes out. Pit lane's closed. We all trundle around, and then they go, okay, deactivate your limiters, and pit lane becomes open. So say you're at turn 3 there, and the crash is in turn 7. You speed up as fast as you can. When you get close to turn 7, that sector line, you have to slow down again. You have to brake, pit limiter on. You drive through that sector, and you're like, while some guy that's way up the road is out of that sector and he's speeding up. And then you get out of that sector and you go as fast as you can back around to pit lane. Pit lane's open now. Safety car's still out. Pit lane's open. You pit, then you come back around and join up with the queue to go again. So it's quite confusing. But the other thing is that I reckon is going to be even worse is how long were the recoveries at Ipswich? They were 3-4 laps. So you're telling me they're going to do 2-3 laps of this, then allow us to turn our speed limiters off, then everyone go pit under full course yellow, under safety car, but we're allowed to go, then go line up back behind the safety car to then start again. How long is these procedures going to go for?
I really struggled to follow you there because I was looking at it and I realised you have no eyebrows.
You've known this the whole time.
I know, but it's just so noticeable that I couldn't stop laughing.
You couldn't stay focused.
Yeah.
I'm so sorry, but
Well, glad you're listening. But, yeah.
no, I see what you're saying, but I remember they
Doesn't
brought
make
out.
sense.
I remember they brought out the VSC, like the time to let everyone pit because it was dangerous to double stack. So now let's go back and double stack now because that's fine. But I can't believe the amount of work that goes into this. Like, in the old system, honestly, didn't have many faults.
No, it didn't.
And how
'Cause
many
you always-
incidents did we have?
We never had a...
We didn't have one.
No.
And if there was a car that badly, hurt or whatever else, I remember you at New Zealand when Frosty put you in, they got red flagged.
Yeah, that's right. 100%. Yeah, you're right.
Like, I don't understand. Like, this is just such... And then
Yeah.
we drive around with wheels that are like Beyblades, and we still can't fix that.
Yeah. See, like you say, like if generally every time when they go, oh, there's a crash, like 99% of the time, the crew cleaning it up and everyone watching on TV, no, it's not that bad. It's just a car that's gone off in the gravel or crashed. So generally that the safety truck or recovery truck doesn't have to get there within 30 seconds. So if they just wait for us all to go past, everyone's pitting on that lap anyway. We're all going past. It can get there safely.
The fields condense within, like, depending on the track. So, like, at Talon Bend, it's a minute 50 lap time.
Yep.
The fields condense within 2 minutes.
Yep.
Pretty much.
And like you
because-
say, if there was a rollover or something, they red flag it straight away.
Yeah. The fields condense in 2 minutes, whereas now we're going to do this fast safety car driving, which is what we did before anyway, and then have to suddenly brake coming up to a slow zone where they're doing a recovery.
What happens if the recovery? So tell me this: which zone will they make, or will they make 2 zones? Will they make 2 zones, slow zone? If it's on the say the crash is where
On a line.
on a line, or even 5 meters after it. So you're coming into that zone at 250, trying to brake to that line. Are they going to make 2 zones slow? How do you do that? Do you say zone? Maybe you just say zone 4 and 5 is slow because the crash is on them both.
It's funny, I didn't see our drivers group get asked because Supercars made this decision.
I talked to Andrew when we were over in America and talked to him 3 days ago, and he said that they weren't going to change it for this weekend, that it was going to be just full course yellow as it was, nothing changed. And now it's like, now I went into briefing and they're like, yeah, you can't pit under full course yellow. You can't do this. You got to speed up here. You got to slow down there. And I'm like, but I'm going to get a penalty somewhere. I'm going to stuff.
So at Thursday's commission meeting, they changed it.
All right.
Yep.
But
they did say
voted
further
for
commission discussion will take place after the trial at the Bend ahead of Bathurst and the finals. They'll review it again after this weekend.
Perfect.
So this is Supercars ruling that I've done this.
Yeah, but like we were trying to talk about this morning is how do they know which car to pick? Like, how do you pick up the leader and all that?
That was what our guys were saying too, like last week, because I heard rumours that maybe it was going to happen, and then they were like struggling to work out who's going to be the leader, and I don't know.
It sounds like there's actually a lot on Supercars to get it right. Like, I can see there being a mistake, like not turning the red light off before someone actually who's meant to pits, like, you know what I mean, or catching the wrong, like not the leader, or whatever. Like, and the other thing is if the safety car's in front of you and you get to deactivate your limit, but they're in front of you, you're not going to get to just speed. Like, you'll be behind them and the rest of the crew will catch you.
Well, all I know is that from the time you've just explained that to me, I'm still struggling to understand. And then I'm going to have to explain this to my mum, and she's grown up around motorsport. And if she can't understand by the race, then we have a serious problem because how is the person at home going
Why'd
to
you
be able
get
to
a penalty?
understand this?
I went fast in my race car through a zone that I wasn't meant to.
Oh,
That's about it. But yeah, so it's hurt my head. But those are two new rules: the weight, and obviously the safety car procedure, which I think is going to be a weird one. But we'll see what everyone thinks after the weekend.
well, who do you think the strongest co-driver pairings are?
Do you mean strongest car for the weekend?
Strongest cars based on drivers.
I don't think you can look past right now Jamie and Brock. Like, Jamie was very fast at the co-driver day, at the test day. He always is. He seemed really fast.
Was he faster than you in Brock's car?
Well, you don't run the same tyre. You just wanted me to say no, but I'm telling you yes. But no, I actually don't know because you weren't running the same tyres at the same time of the day.
He was quicker, wasn't he?
Don't even know what to say in this situation.
Plead the fifth.
Is there
No,
like
he
a
wasn't.
hidden
Yeah,
blown
plead the fifth.
Is there like a hidden blown diffuser on that thing?
On mine?
Not your car.
Oh,
Your car's terrible.
Oh, like where he just is super
Sorry,
fast.
not
'Cause
terrible. I shouldn't say that.
No, I think Jamie, you haven't won 7 championships because he's just so good. He's talented enough
He's
that
the
he can.
bat.
Yeah, that's right. But he can hop back in and do a good job just because of his talent.
Does he still enjoy doing it?
I think so. You can see his dedication when he gets close to it. Like, he was in the simulator today. You can see, he looks like he's been training a fair bit. Like, he's a dedicated guy. Like, you can see it. You could see it when he was racing. His attitude towards racing, and I don't think Jamie would do it if he didn't enjoy it and if he wasn't dedicated towards it. Like, he's that.
So he has to feel like, because I remember, obviously being around RD a little bit, he was so, he'd always have he was really meticulous with what he did. So I was wondering how he'd juggle that with being, a team owner and running the team now, obviously with RD stepping out and all that sort of stuff, and being able to co-drive, because it's not just you just jump in the car. It's months of preparation, really, when you think about it.
Yeah, 100%. And it's just about getting that, I guess, kind of thinking about it mentally again, because you probably go away and you think about all the other stuff for literally, we might do that for a week or two between our events, and then we're straight back into it. Like, they've had 8-9 months out of the car or longer, you know what I mean? They might have done one test day in that time. So yeah, it's interesting, but I think you can't look past Jamie and Brock. I think is the strongest pairing right now. Obviously with what Brock's done, he's won 10 or 11 races and polled the last 9 shootouts or something. So I think they're a very strong pairing. I'm trying to think who else. Obviously you and Todd. Todd did a fantastic job last year. I'd like to think me and Scott. Scott did a.
Todd races a bunch too. So because of doing all the Trans Am stuff, I mean, he could sit out this round at the Bend and still be in championship thing. So
yeah, and it actually surprised me. I think the guys that are straight out of main game, Scott jumps in and does a very good job straight away, and he's not driving all that much. He did. I think he raced in New Zealand in the
That's
touring
right.
cars
Yeah,
there. Yeah, he did that, but he jumped back in at the test day and. Was straight away fast and doing a good job, no mistakes or anything like that. So he's going to be fast as well. Biggest thing is hopefully I could match Brock. That's the biggest thing. I'm not worried about Scott at all. He'll do a good job and be fast. But yeah, I don't know. I'm trying
Cam
to think.
and Frosty would be good. I think it's going to be cool to see Frosty in monster gear.
That's true. Yeah, I didn't even think about that pairing, actually.
Yeah, Frosty's pretty excited.
Is he?
Yeah, I was talking to him at the launch.
Yeah, right. Be interesting to see the time, how much faster. If Cam's much faster or how much faster in that car, because it's first year out for Frosty, and he was a good driver, so it'd be very interesting to see that. Yeah, it was. No, I'm joking. Yeah, he still is. Anyone else?
I think Lee back at Team 18 be good to see as well.
Yeah, I think Lee will be interesting.
Who's he with? He's with Dave, isn't he? Yeah, he's with Dave. Yeah, and then Harry Jones is with Anton. It'll be interesting to see how Harry goes.
Yeah, actually, Harry will be very interesting because I've heard for probably the last 2 years that people have been considering, but people have been considering him as a main game seat a couple of times.
Yeah.
And I'm like, oh, okay, it's interesting because you haven't seen him drive a supercar really. So
It's his first year co-driving, isn't it?
I think so.
Yes.
I'm pretty
Yeah,
sure it is.
it is, it
Yeah.
is.
So I reckon this will be a big year for him. Like as in to see how he goes up against Anton. And to be honest, Anton's not doing a bad job. Like he probably runs
doing a
pretty
good job.
competitive, definitely at Bathurst, I would think, and probably
Yeah.
at Taylor Bend as well. So I think those guys. What do you reckon your top three will be?
What class?
Here we go. The supercar class.
Wow. You're in a supercar.
Don't get speak up and that writing all articles about it.
No, we'll have to put a disclaimer on this before I say it. Not to be used for.
Yeah.
No, I think probably like it's a hard one. I think honestly, I'd like to think we'd be up there.
Yep.
I think Todd's going to do a real good job. I don't know if
Co-drivers can drag you up there a fair way as well.
Yeah, and he always does like a really good job at test day. Like he pretty much drove the whole test day and went through like a test plan and stuff. And he always does a good job every time he hops in. Even at Sydney start of the year, was really good. So did a great job last year, even at Sandown. Like we were always in the hunt. So I'd like to say we'd be up there. Obviously Brock and J-Dub. Only thing with J-Dub is that if he gets in a bit of a battle, what'll happen, because he showed being a little bit green last year, like at Sandown, when he was racing Todd.
It was interesting. He battled Todd a lot harder than I thought last year. Like as in, like I thought, because Todd got up the inside.
Yeah,
I
and
thought
we've
he'd
sharpened our exhaust tips for this one. Let me
You
tell
have?
you. Oh yeah.
Do you reckon you owe one? Are you upset about last year or?
Oh, we're really upset about it.
We're really upset about it.
Yeah. Can't you tell?
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, right. But yeah, I don't know. Freak, he's won 7 championships. Surely he can battle.
And I think you guys will be up there too.
Yep. Hope so. It's a plan.
I don't know if you can get off your dire run.
Yeah, but like dire run. Like I qualified second, third at Ipswich.
Doesn't matter.
Sucks when your teammates doing
You're
so
always
well, hey?
compared to your teammates.
Yeah, that's
so
right.
You know
So,
how it works.
Yeah.
Do a better job,
Nowhere.
and you won't
That's
be
right.
in this predicament where I can
Pay me out.
pay you out.
Yeah, I know.
You're making me look bad too.
Yeah. So you reckon? So that's going to be your top 3?
Yeah, not sure in what order. I think it'll be what it'll be, but yeah.
I reckon that was.
I hope it rains. Maybe that'll give us a chance.
Yeah, okay. I'm going to go, I reckon Brock and Jamie, hopefully myself and Scott. And I'm trying to think who...
Don't
Someone
think too
like
hard. You're
Payne
gonna have a
and
malfunction
Tander
in a
could be
minute.
pretty
Yeah, I
deadly.
reckon someone like Payne and Tan. I reckon either you guys... Like, I need to say top 3, don't know. But I reckon personally it'll be Payne and Tander, you or Hazelwood, or Cam and Frosty. I reckon that's the
All right. Well, who's going to be your biggest letdown, you think?
biggest letdown.
Yeah.
As in out of those 3, or just in general?
Just in general.
Just in general. I don't know. I would say you never know what you're going to get out of the Grove cars. They're either really fast or 12th. You know what I mean? Don't you agree?
Yeah, that's actually probably a fair point.
Like, I think they're doing a very good job, but I think that Payne and Tander will either be like really competitive, like top 3, top 4, or I think they'll more be like 12th. Like,
I'm pretty, I think you're definitely right there, but I'm also excited to see, I reckon we're about to get a true measure of where the Super 2 field's at the moment, because we've got Job with Cooper, then we've got Jared with LeBrock, then we've got Nash with Richie.
Yep.
Ryland's doing their wild card with, I think, with
Tickford?
Yeah, Tickford, yep. So...
Cam McLeod's in there too.
Yeah, Cam McLeod.
Zach Bates in with us as well. But it's interesting as well. And I think actually out of all those guys you just said, they've all got good enough cars to run up there or show that they're competitive. Like I remember even when, me and Anton was fresh into main game. Main game was hard at that time, but I was able to run it up there during the during the co-drivers, just because I was racing all the time and that. But this will be interesting because I think the Erebus cars are still fast.
Yeah.
So they've got the opportunity to run up there. The Premier cars are fast, like they're still capable of running top 10 for sure. Nash is in that, and then obviously Zach's got the same cars as us, so
definitely fast down the straight.
see how they all go. So I reckon that'll be interesting. I think it's good. There's a fair few Super 2 co-drivers in there. It's good for all those guys to definitely get a drive. And
it's an important time of year for them too. Like a lot of them trying to crack into main game.
Yeah,
They'll all be wanting to.
I feel like
they're all auditioning, aren't they?
because I've been trying to help Zach. Obviously, everyone knows. Like I've made that quite obvious, but it's literally they're all just auditioning. Like I feel like all of them, Taylor Men, Bathurst. Maybe there'll be one or two Super 2 guys get the opportunity to step up next year, and I think all the teams are just looking to see who does the best job throughout that period. So that'll be interesting. I think it'll be a good weekend. Hopefully a fair few people come out and check it out.
Hopefully one of us has got a trophy to bring back before Bathurst.
That'd be nice.
Yeah, we need some props.
Yeah.
See, the funny thing is that this, which is so amazing, is that this is, well, not worth as much, I guess, because but you get the plus 25 points for these 2 rounds. So you want to try and win the Enduro Cup.
Oh, of course.
But you want to win it anyway, just out of
you always want to win them,
You want to win it, but I'm pretty keen
it's
for
another
this.
talking point, isn't it?
Yeah.
25 points, blah,
Yeah,
blah,
that's
blah,
right.
whatever. Well, we're getting into our... I love this segment. It's our young driver segment.
Yep.
So I got to pick this one.
Yep.
And
Who you got?
Alice Buckley.
Yep, that's a good one.
Yeah, scholarship champion. Got to race with her at the TO2 round. And
She's obviously fast.
yeah, she's doing a great job.
Yeah.
Doing a great job. Got good people around her, guiding her. So, yeah, I reckon
That's a good
let's
one to
shout
pick.
out. So
I was
good job,
actually,
Alice.
it was cool to see her. What was that? That was like maybe, did they run Ipswich like a month before they actually ran the Enduro and she won at Ipswich?
She did, yeah.
She
Yeah,
won
she
one or
did.
2 races?
Yeah. She won a few of the races there. So,
Yep.
yeah, she jumped straight into that Trans Am. Has done a really good job. So,
Yep.
yeah, I'm excited to see what her future holds.
Yeah, that's cool. That's good on her. Good to see her doing so well. It'll be interesting to see what she does after. Like,
Yeah.
what's her future progress from TA2? Does she?
Well, she's still quite young, so still got a lot of
True.
time on her side. So,
How old is she?
I'm not too sure.
I think she's like 17.
Yeah, 17.
Okay. Oh, geez, she's doing
Yeah.
well. Yeah.
Yeah, still
she
young.
definitely
She
does.
got picked for the Ferrari girls. I forget what it was called, like a couple of years ago, but it was during COVID, so she got stuck here, so she couldn't go over.
Oh, bugger.
There you go.
Because
Geez,
Jess
that's
Dane
pretty
was
cool.
quite involved in helping her get picked. She was the only pick from Australia and New Zealand,
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
but she couldn't go over because of COVID.
Jeez, that's cool.
There you go.
Yeah,
Oh.
and she was like, I think she was 14 then, or 13 or 14, so she was the youngest by far then.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So,
right.
yeah, I think that makes
Good
her like
effort.
17 now.
Okay.
All right, we got some quick fire Q&A to finish up.
Yep.
First one, are you guys fans of the lucky dog rule at Enduros?
Bloody oath.
Yeah. That's why we named it Lucky Dogs. No, I don't know. I think I am.
What?
I actually am. I had no idea then.
You planning on being a lucky dog?
Well, I know I was. Remember the year that Erebus, when I got turned around and we were straight
Oh,
away a
yeah.
lap down and I was like, perfect, got the Lucky Dog rule. So I was definitely a fan of it. I think, I don't, like, to be honest, if somebody comes back from a lap down and wins the race because of that, good on them. Like, whatever.
Yeah, I think it's good.
I
More
think it's
cars in the
good.
mix.
Yeah, more cars in the mix. Like, you know, if you have a crash at the start and 5 cars end up out.
Could crash under this safety car too. These new rules. Who knows?
Yeah, that's true. And then 5 of them get back on the lead lap and make the race more interesting. I think play on. Everyone's got the opportunity.
Do you guys get to keep all your trophies, or do you have to give them to the team?
The team keep all
Yeah,
the trophies.
I'm
But
not a fan of that, to be honest. Like, fair enough, they pay the bills, but
I'm not a sentimental like. I
no,
don't-
you're not.
Yeah.
He gives his helmets away. I was like trying to get one. I was going to go break into George's and steal one of your helmets because did you give him your championship winning helmet?
Yeah, I gave my championship winning helmet to George, my engineer, and then I gave one of my helmets to Nathan.
Yep.
Tom's got my Gold Coast helmet. So to be honest, like I don't really.
I got everything like.
Yeah, I know you do. You got like a shrine there.
Yeah, but I'm a
You
used
walk in,
car
it's just a big
salesman. Like
full
I'm
wank
like,
fest about Will Brown in your house.
yeah, but I feel like when I give that away, I'm giving away like $12,000 to someone. Like they're so expensive.
Yeah, but I see it as in like, you know, our sport is so taxing. Like it's so much, stress.
He's just gonna make himself look like a real good fella here and just. Here,
Well, it's because
keep-
I'm a
keep
good
going.
fella.
Yeah.
You know, and like I'll never forget when I gave George my helmet.
Oh, yes.
Like the motion and everything that he got through it was really cool. So like, and same with like when I gave one to Nate, when I gave one to Tom, you know, like they put in a lot of hours
to make it work. Yeah.
to make it work, and like we're the ones that get the trophy. You know, they just
Righto, Ange, just
pat
take
on
my
the back.
helmet.
Yeah, I was
when
about to
you
say,
go far.
Yeah.
you're
Don't
such a
worry.
nice guy, Brodie.
Yeah.
That's right.
It's not my fault. You're a selfless prick.
Next question.
But for context, for people that don't know, you guys can order the trophies through Supercars, can't you, to get them made again?
They're so expensive. My parents ordered me my championship one. It's not the Peter Brock one. It's like the round one.
Yeah.
And I was like, don't quote me, but it was anywhere between $2,500 and $3,500 for the trophy. And so every single one is about $2,000. So if you're Brock Feeney, it's a lot of money.
One good second
it's expensive.
If you're Brock, it's a lot of money. But I've bought. I think I've bought 3 or 4 of the big ones. But yeah, you can buy them, but the team generally take them. I try and sneak some out because Triple Eight's got a fair few there, but don't tell them.
I remember Shane when he won Chicago the very first time. That trophy, I think, to get it remade for him to have one, it was like 20 plus grand US.
Really?
Wow.
Yeah.
Did he get one?
I'm actually not sure. He's just like Brodie. He doesn't really keep anything.
Yeah, true.
Cheese might have it.
Yeah, I think you'd have to get one.
I'm happy with just a few model cars, and I'm a big memory person, so I like keeping photos, and that's of time, those times. But I don't. They just collect dust.
Yeah, I'm not sure. I'm not into model cars massively. I'm not worried. I don't have one of my model cars I got given me, but I don't know.
I've got 3. I've got my championship winner, Bathurst winner, and my first Bathurst podium, which was 21. That's it.
That's pretty cool. Yeah, no.
This is topical with Super 2 and the cost of that. Who is someone you raced in the past that never made it but had the talent? So maybe someone that couldn't afford to get into Super 2 and...
Oh, that's a tricky one.
I'm trying to think of
You said someone the other day while we were talking about it when we were in the States.
No, there was a few kids I raced in go-karts that were around, because we did a little bit of racing with Oscar Piastri at the time, and then there was a few people, there was a guy called Dylan Hollis.
Yeah, that was
who won,
I remember Dylan Hollis, yeah.
Do you remember him? He won, 12 national championships and that, and then he just disappeared, and then same with, James Abella. James Abella did a bit of actually Aussie cars, but he was really good in go-karts. But I'm trying to think of someone,
Has there been anyone in a cycle where it's been not a good time to try and make the step into supercars and they kind of missed the window?
I'm sure there has been, but I just can't put my finger on it. I think there's still people that...
As in they got to Super 2 level, or just got to basically got to the point of...
Well, just they probably should have been in supercars, but they didn't make it for whatever reason.
I still think there was a couple of people that, if they were put in an okay car, could probably get back in now, is someone like Zane Goddard. He probably got roasted pretty bad for that crash at Bathurst that time, but he wasn't that slow and he was pretty fast. He won Zane won in Super 2. The Nissans were really good that year, but he won a few races. He stepped up. He was running in an MSR ZB at the time. They were running 16th, 17th. So there's a few guys that, I'm not going to say they're going to jump in and win a championship or anything like that, but I still think they should probably be on the grid. Even Jake. Jake was running, in the year in Gen 3. Did he do the first year in Gen 3?
No, he didn't. He did the last year
in Tickford, and he was running...
Yeah, the first half of the year he was in the top 5 a couple of times.
I remember he was running... I remember at Perth I was running 3rd, I think, and he was running 4th right behind me. So there was a few guys that had sort of standout runs that aren't in the category anymore, and I guess it's just churn and burn a little bit. If you're not getting the top 10 results... the team start making decisions to put someone else in because it's kind of just
what happens.
It's just what happens. So, yeah, I think there's a few guys that could definitely still be in the sport that are still young guys and were competitive.
What track on the calendar do you think would be good driven in the opposite direction?
Someone ask that?
QR.
Yeah, it's actually been asked a couple of times. I don't know why.
It's just identical QR, just backwards, really.
Yeah, what would change?
I don't even know. What would change? It's all pretty similar, but I'm not sure.
What would be the most extreme track going backwards?
It'd have to, or Gold Coast to be really random, don't you think? Imagine turn 1 there where you don't have runoff.
Mate, with how much our thing's handcuffed, we wouldn't even be able to get up the hill.
Oh, here we go. The hill's the same both ways. Gold Coast doesn't have
it. It climbs slower going up the way we drive now, and then you go the other way. You got to climb up through Skyline.
Yeah, you're right.
We need a
Might have to change your gearing or something. Gold Coast, I reckon, would be pretty hectic. Don't you think? Or maybe
much the same.
It's just that what would be turn 1 and 2, there's no runoff, and it'd be braking while turning into there.
Yeah. I reckon, obviously Bathurst would probably be the most extreme change.
Yeah. Yeah, it would be wild to actually try Bathurst backwards. Like, it'd be pretty interesting to see what it's like. Like, even if you got to do 5 laps, like, it'd be weird.
It would be weird.
Yeah. Yeah, we'll go Bathurst,
Yeah, we'll go
obviously.
Bathurst.
All right. Well, that leads into our last and final question. You can drive any year at Bathurst. What's the car and who's the co-driver?
Oh, that's a tricky one. Any year?
Yep, you got to pick year, car, co-driver. But you can pull any year, any car, any co-driver.
Mine's a bit, like, I think I should probably go older than what I'm going to go. But I'm going to go, is it around 2011, the Vodafone car with Jamie? Was it 2011 or something like that? Well, people know what I'm talking about, but I'd probably go Jamie around that 2010 to 2012 era in the VE. I think it'd be pretty cool. They were still sequential, weren't they? Yeah, they were sequential.
2011 was first. Yeah.
Maybe even like a little bit older, like
I think 09 was first year sequential.
Yeah, go sequential, but around that era.
Why you don't like H-pads after your American experience?
Sorry, I meant to say H-pattern. I'd like to get, but I don't like H-patterns. But I'd like to give the H-pattern a go. So yeah, I'd go like around that era, just before it went to the sequential. I think in like I think Vodafone cars, they were cool back then, like the 1, 2, and all that. I'd go that.
Yeah, okay. God, I'd like to go something like mid-90s.
Yeah, that's what I like.
Drive with DJ. I reckon that'd be good.
That'd be.
He is
cool.
so funny to be around.
Really?
He's got the best one-liners. I couldn't imagine being at a racetrack with him in the mid-90s. I reckon just be an absolute hoot.
That's true. That would be a lot of fun. I think the mid-90s would have been a lot of fun in supercars.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah. Yeah, maybe I didn't go far enough back, but yeah, that's mine.
Well done.
Righto. Thanks everyone for listening.
Yeah, and hopefully we have some trophies sitting here after our Talent Men weekend, but thanks for tuning in.
Can I do one last read of our Spotify review?
Yeah.
Best podcast out, Will Brown, the bald little dog is such a cutie. I love how he has no eyebrows and he's such a laugh.
I saw this and I'm like, this must be someone I know. And then you admitted to actually writing it, did you? Did you write it or who wrote it?
I don't know.
You don't know who wrote it?
No, allegedly.
Allegedly.
I was reading this at home and I'm like, what is this? I didn't know if the person like sort
the
of
bald
like
little dog.
Yeah, like did they give me a compliment or did they
Well, it was 5 stars.
5 Oh, well that's all right then. Perfect. I don't know who wrote it at this stage, but it's got to be someone.
Timely that Brodie said you had no eyebrows.
Yeah, there's something going on here. Someone's taking
Well, I did read the review.
Yeah. Oh, thank you.